major glare. Well, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. We are live with Chris Logan today. Every Wednesday, we're coming to you live and we're having a blast teaching virtual wholesaling made simple. And it's been, we had a week off last week, which was kind of nice. And we have a lot of interesting things that are happening in the group that Chris is bringing to the table. We'll be mentioning that in a little while, but welcome all in. I know it takes a minute for everyone to find the video. So in the meantime, we are going to be focusing on, you can do this on the replay if you need to hit the front end of this video, but we're going to be focusing on the back end of the deal, and that's getting that deal sold. That's handing that deal over to those cash buyers. That's the process of going through the end of the process so you can get paid. That's the whole point of this whole thing, right? We talk a lot about the front end of the deal, where we're acquiring that cash buyer list, where we're really, analyzing deals, we're looking at the CMA, we're doing all the things. But the important thing is getting the deal over the finish line. That's all the pieces on the back end. And that's what we're going to be finishing out today in our baby step virtual wholesaling series that we've been doing for the last few weeks. And again, we're going to wait until a couple of people join us. We're going to open up the comment section here. When and if you are coming on, we would absolutely love it if you would drop your name in the chat and let us know where you're from. Let us know where you are marketing, because it's always a great opportunity to connect with other wholesalers and agents and people that show up in these types of things, right? But I want to just take a moment to draw your attention to the group. So we have a Facebook group of about 3,500 investors that, this has been an organic growth group. I've just kind of nurtured relationships and gotten to know a bunch of you. So a lot of you know me, and I'm super excited to bring value to the group week after week. And in this case, our expert in the group is Chris Logan. And Chris is a multi-seven-figure virtual wholesaler. He lives in Florida with his beautiful wife and son for about 10 years now. And he's started a pretty amazing coaching business as a result of capitalizing on his expertise. Why? Because so many people were coming to him wondering, how's he getting so many amazing results? And as a result, just his nature to dive into sharing a wealth of knowledge, teaching all of the tools of the trade, keeping it ultra simple is his philosophy, and why we love it so much, because it's not so complicated when you hear it in small pieces that are executable. And that's what we seek to bring here, is tons of value. I see some people hopping on. Looks like you found us. Drop your name in the comments. Let us know where you're from. We'd love to say hello to you. But in the meantime, Chris, you are here, and we are super excited to have you as always. We have a lot to share today, and a lot to share about opportunity in the group that I'll let you share. If you just want to say hello and introduce yourself, I'd love that. Welcome in.
Yeah, sure. Tracy, thank you for that amazing introduction. I'm always excited to join in on these lives and share value with your group. You have an amazing community here, and I always look forward to each Wednesday we can connect. So yeah, for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Chris Logan. Like Tracy said, you can see in the blue on the screen. I've been wholesaling houses for the last 10 years. I've done over 600 deals, broke free from corporate America 7 years ago, haven't looked back. Do real estate full time, grew our business to over 7 figures. And now I'm really passionate about showing others how to get started in virtual wholesaling, right? So some people say, Chris, what's the difference between virtual wholesaling and just regular wholesaling, right? So our business didn't really explode and to where we started doing a ton of deals until we switched to doing all of our deals over the phone. I love it because it gives you time freedom, right? The ability to work from any location, doesn't matter where you are. You could be on vacation. You could be doing deals from an island somewhere on vacation, right? You could be in another state than the states you live in, do deals there. If wholesaling is illegal in your state, like there's been laws saying you have to have a real estate license to be able to do it, you are no longer held back. You can just wholesale houses in another state. So there's a lot of benefits to going virtual, and virtual is the future. So if you're a wholesaler and you're like, I'm struggling to do deals, I don't know why, the truth is the best deals are not in your backyard, and you can wholesale houses from home anywhere in the country, right? So that's what I'm passionate about, sharing with people how to do. That's what we've done. That's what we grew our business to do. And ever since COVID happened, a lot of sellers are totally open to the idea of selling their house over the phone. There was a little bit of finessing we had to do before COVID, but now after COVID, you have all the open doors, the offer pad, the Zillow home buyers, all those guys who do it completely over the phone. Sellers are totally used to it, and they actually prefer it now, right? And so that's what I love to do. And if you are wholesaling locally, I want you to imagine for a moment all that time that you spend driving the houses back and forth, overseeing buyer showings, driving to the courthouse maybe to pull lists, things like that. If you could take all of that time and reinvest that into talking with sellers and doing deals, how many more deals could you do, right? So that's what I'm really passionate about sharing with others, and I'm happy to be here today. And like Tracy said, what we're going to be covering today is we're going to be covering the 5th step in the 5 baby steps to wholesale houses from home, right? So we're going to talk about that 5th step. And the 5th step is selling the deal. So, before I get into that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. But before I dive into selling the deal, let's talk about why this is important, right? So there's a lot of wholesalers that I meet that, have no problem locking up deals, or maybe they're struggling to lock up their first deal. They finally lock it up, right? But they don't have a proven process to be able to sell the deal, right? It's really hopes and dreams. They're like crossing their fingers, like, I pray that I find a buyer for this property, or I got this property under contract. What do I do next? That's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step system that you can use. You can walk away from this call and you can use it to sell your wholesale deals to buyers and get the highest offer possible. So let's go ahead and dive into that, and we'll break that down, break down our system. So as you guys know, we've already gone through these other modules here, step 1 through 4. So these other steps, we've gone through those last week. We spent a lot of time on motivated sellers. We opened this up, and we showed how there's a lot of different lists. We gave you the exact lists that you can pull. We showed you where to pull them from in PropStream. We showed you all the different lists that you can get. And one of the things we talked about too is not all lists are created equal right now, right? There's a lot of there's a lot of confusion in the market right now because interest rates are really high on mortgages. Some people are saying, oh, none of the sellers I talked to want to sell their house. None of them are motivated, right? And so if you didn't see last week's session with step 4, I gave you the exact list to target. As a matter of fact, someone in the group here, forgive me, I can't remember the name, but she actually took massive imperfect action. She basically saw one of the lists that we use. She's like, I'm going to go pull that, and I'm going to go do some deals. She pulled a list, and I want to say she made like $45,000 or $65,000. She posted in the group. Now, not everybody's going to get that result, and I'm not implying everybody is, but that's just a result of massive imperfect action. Not many people are willing to take massive imperfect action. She saw something we talked about. She took action, and it works. Surprise.
Yes.
So that's what we dove into last week, right? So if you haven't seen that last week, you want to dive into that. And we also talked about the 4 pillars of motivation, what you should get on every seller call, and how to identify in just 10 minutes or less if a seller is motivated just by asking him 2 questions. So I'm not going to share those 2 questions here because that was last week. You can go back and check that out. But today, we're going to go into selling the deal. Tracy, anything you wanted to add before I did that?
I don't think so. I'm loving the direction you're taking things. So
okay, perfect. It looked like you were going to say something, so I wanted to.
Nope.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, guys, so we're going to dive into selling the deal. All right. So let's talk about that and what that looks like. So before we dive into this part, one of the things I'd like you guys to do, I thrive off engagement. I know Tracy does too. So what I want you to go ahead and post your questions in the comments, right? If you guys have questions about selling deals, and I want to make sure that I get those questions answered on today's call. So go ahead and post your questions in the comments. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peek back and forth in the group, and I'm going to see if there's any comments there, or maybe Tracy, if you see any comments, let me know, and then we can go ahead and answer those questions and make sure that you get your questions answered, because that's one big thing when you're on this journey in real estate, right? You got to get your questions answered. And if you get your questions answered, you have confidence to be able to move forward, right? So let's talk about the first step to selling the deal. So what you want is you want to set up a email marketing service. Now, I know that sounds technical. Some of you guys are techie in here where they're like, I know exactly what that is. Some of you are going to be like, I have no idea what that is. Help, right? So very simple. It's a service, software service that you can use to sell to send a lot of emails at once, right? You're not sending one email. This service is if you have a list of like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 emails or more, you can write one email one time, click a button, and it blasts that email out to the list. Why is this important? Because this is the number one way that we sell deals as wholesalers, okay? And I don't want you to overthink this email that you're going to send out, right? So once you have a list of emails of buyers that you've spoken to that said, hey, add me to your buyers list. If you're looking to add more buyers to your list, watch, I want to say 2 or 3 videos ago, you want to watch that. You can go to the video section of the group and see it. We show how to build your buyers list and all that. And basically, once you've built up a list of people on your list who want to buy houses, then what you're going to do when you get a new property, you're going to post the street address in the email. Okay, so I'll give you an example. 123 Main Street, 33615, Tampa, Florida, right? Would just be Main Street, Tampa, Florida, 33615. The reason you don't want to put the number there is because you don't want other wholesalers, if you have wholesalers on your list, you don't want them blasting out your deal all over Zillow, Craigslist, and all those areas without your permission. They can't do that without the address. So you want to put the street address. An example of a street address, again, would be just Main Street, Tampa, Florida, 33615, right? And if you do that, people are going to reach out to you and you'll know every single person that you gave the email to, right? Or the property address to. And that's really, really important because that way, if something wrong happens, a buyer goes by the property without your knowledge, the seller gets upset, like you could track it down to who you gave the address to. That's really, really important. That's a lesson I had to learn the hard way, right? You want to use MailChimp. I like it because it's free, right? And it's free up to your first 1,000 contacts, which should be good for most of you guys until you get past the threshold of doing multiple deals a month and you want to switch to something else, right? Or go to a paid plan with them. But MailChimp is free, so I recommend it. So again, have the street address. Then you want to have a front-facing picture of the property, right? And then below that, keep it simple. Just put the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. And most people like to know what the house is made of, right? So you put exterior construction and you'll put block or wood frame. You can find that in PropStream by entering the property into PropStream under construction. It'll tell you. You can find that on Zillow. I will give you an example. I'm going to share my screen just so you can see what that looks like here. Let me go to Zillow and then I'll share this tab that I got here so you guys can see this. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to put 33615 in Tampa here. Okay. I want to look for houses, single family houses, apply. And then what I'm going to look for here is, let me go to, I may need to open it up a little bit. Just go to Tampa, right? We'll find some houses for sale. Give me 1 second for sale. That's interesting. I don't know what showing any properties for sale. I know there's houses for sale in Tampa. Give me 1 second here. Coming soon. Listing type, sale, apply. There we go. Okay, cool. So I don't know what was going on there, but anyway. So let's take a look at this property right here. So where would you find the construction type of this property, right? So we're gonna go to details. Okay. So let me shrink this down here so you can see it. Okay, cool. So this one here, front-facing picture of the property. It's exactly the type of picture you would have in your email. Again, on your email, if this was your property you were selling, you would just have East Osborne Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33603. Leave off the number there. And then let's go to here. You can type in exterior features, foundation construction materials. Here you go. This is where it shows wood frame. So that's what you would say. So you'd say exterior construction, wood frame. You could do ext dot construction wood frame. That's what I would do, right? So you do that, and you don't need to put the build year, nothing else like that. So at this point, what you have is you have the street address, you have a front-facing picture of the house, which is like this right here. Below it, you're going to have bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and then construction wood frame, right? If it's a wood frame property, this may say block, this may say brick, this may say manufactured, right? Whatever it says there, that's what you want to put in the email. And then below that, what you want to do is list off the facts, okay? So you want to list off the facts. You don't want to list feelings like, I think you could take this property and you could, put, 50K into it and you could turn it into this most amazing Airbnb and so on, right? Like buyers don't care about your opinion, right? So you do not do that because that could also come back to bite you. Someone could buy the property from you. They could say, hey, you told me it could be used for this use. It can't. Now I want to sue you, basically, right? So you don't want to include your opinion at all. You just want to state facts, right? So what are examples of facts? So an example of facts would be, how old is the roof, right? How old is the AC, which is the air conditioning, right? Are there any plumbing or electrical issues that you know of? These are known facts that the seller has shared with you about the property, right? And from there, you can take that information and put it. So example, you could say, nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath, wood frame property in the heart of whatever subdivision the property is located in. You can see that on Zillow, right? And you'll say the property needs a new roof, or the roof is 15 years old. AC was replaced 5 years ago. No issues. No electrical issues, no plumbing issues. And then from there, you could come into one of these listings here you find on Zillow that's in the same area, and you could grab this last part right here, okay? In every single realtor's listing, they have something positive about the location, right? So look at this. Conveniently located within minutes of multiple restaurants, bars, and shops, as well as access to I-275 for commuting nearby cities. And that makes you look like a rock star and you really know the area and what you're doing. So that's like a little hack. You can just go to the bottom of a listing that's on the same street or in a quarter mile of your property, and you can use that right there. And it gives buyers a good idea about what's going on in the area, right? So you don't have to write these things from scratch every time. You can just go in and use something that's already been done, right? So, so you have that. And then below that, you want to have wholesale price. So let me see if I can share a Word document with you guys really quick. Okay, so I'm a visual learner. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a visual learner. So I'm going to share with you what this would look like here if this was an email that you were sending out. Can you guys see my Microsoft Word? Perfect. There we go. Okay, so let's give an example. So here's what this email will look like, right? So you're going to have Main Street. You're going to have Tampa, Florida. Let's use this listing here as an example, actually. I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab this right here. We're going to take that out. It's going to look like this. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have a picture of the front of the property. So I'm just going to give you an example of this. 1 second here. I'm putting this together on the fly. So give you an idea. Now this picture is not going to be perfect, right? Because I just took a snapshot of it, but just bear with me on that. But this will just give you an idea of what this is going to look like. All right. So let me come over here. I'm going to insert a picture on here so you can see this. Second picture from file. I took a snapshot. So download desktop. I think it went there. Here it is. Perfect. All right. So now we're putting our wholesale listing together. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do bedrooms. So you can see beds, number, baths, number. Okay. So let's just give an example. 3, 2, if that's what it was. I'm going to go back and look. That's what this property was. This is a 3, 2. Then we'll do square foot. Whoops. Square foot. We're going to do 1656. That's what this one is here. All right. So you do this. And then what I would do is I would do EXT construction, right? People would know what it means. And I would do wood frame, or you could just say frame, right? So you could do that. So this is what the email is going to look like that you're going to send out. Okay. Very simple so far, right? Nothing crazy. Then what you're going to do is you're going to list off what the seller told you about the roof. Okay. You say, so nice property in the heart of Tampa, right? So I'd start off like that. And then I would say the roof is 15 years old. The AC was replaced 5 years ago, right? And let's say if there was a small leak in the plumbing, there is a small plumbing leak in the back of the house, okay, which caused some damage, okay? And then from there, you're just going to come over here and you're going to grab the bottom of the description, like I said before. So come over here and boom, okay? All right, so I would make this here the same. Whoops, let me just paste this same paste special. We're just going to say unformatted text. There we go. And then what I would do is I would take out this last part because your property is not fully updated. And I would say, like all of our properties, this will move fast. Make an offer today, right? So that's all you got to do. And you come down here and you type in wholesale price. Okay. And then whatever you're looking to sell it for. So you're looking to sell it for, let's say this one is 197K net. So what do I mean by net? That means the buyer pays all the closing costs. That's really important. Okay. In all wholesale transactions, the buyers pay all the closing costs. So that's what you do. It's a very simple email, right? We've used it where we didn't have this, no write-up of the property, and we just had this right here and this, and it was fine. But what we found is you actually make more money on properties the more details that you provide, right? So we provided all this, and buyers don't ask about it, right? And then if they have any questions, they can go back to the email and look at it. And then as far as a link for pictures, what you want to do is put the pictures right underneath the main photo. So you could say link to photos, right? So you do that. We'll put that here in the middle and boom, just like that. Okay. And then you'll have your link to your photos, and that's it. And that's all that you want to do. And then you're going to send this out to buyers, and buyers are going to reach out to you. And from there, you're going to answer their questions about the property, and then you're going to set up a time to view the property, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Let me go back to the mind map here. Okay. So a big thing that I want you guys to see, and this is something that you'll notice from the email write-up that I just did there. We don't do repair estimates, right? What does that mean? Buyers are going to ask you, how much do you think it's going to take to repair this property? Like, what's your estimate of repairs to the property? They want you to say something silly like 30,000, 50,000. And the reason they want you to say that is because they know you have no idea what you're talking about. So unless you've remodeled personally 3 to 5 houses yourself, you should not be doing repair estimates. Should not be doing it at all. It's killing your deals. And if you don't believe me, go into some of the Facebook groups and look at the wholesalers who have posted their deals and have put repair estimates, and watch how their deals get shredded right in front of everybody else in the Facebook group, right? So the answer, if a buyer comes up to you and says, hey, how much do you think it's going to take to remodel this property? Your answer is going to be, it doesn't matter what I think because I'm not the one that's doing the fix-up, right? I'm not the one that's remodeling the property, right? So we're going to try and push you for a number because that's how they're going to beat you down on your price, and they're going to lower your assignment fee. But if you don't give an estimate of repairs, don't say the kitchen should only be 10K, the bathroom should be 5K, and the roof, yeah, that's clearly 15K. Don't put your chest. Don't talk about things you have no idea about. And the only way you have permission to answer those questions is if you have a general contractor's license, or so you're a licensed GC, or you've remodeled 3 to 5 houses yourself, right? Just makes it a lot easier. Wholesaling is not a construction business, okay? Wholesaling is a sales and marketing business. What we do is we do sales to get great products, and then we put those products in front of our buyer, which is our cash buyers, and then they're the ones who have to do their own due diligence and make a decision if it works for them or not, right? There's certain buyers that are really going to press you, right? They're going to be like, hey, well, if you don't know how much the repairs are, how did you even come up with your sales price, right? So they're going to say things like that and really try to drill you. And then at that, hey, listen, what I recommend, we have our own formulas for coming up with our offer price, our wholesale price. So if you have any questions about the deal, go ahead and check out the email. Let me know if you have any questions that I can answer, and then take a look at the photos. Make sure you do your own due diligence. Trust me, guys, it'll save you a lot of frustration, heartache, and just stress in the business, because that's something that used to bother me a lot, right? Buyers would try to put me into a corner, and they would ask me a question they knew I didn't know the answer to. I was trying to be helpful and just answer the question. Little did I know they were going to use it to negotiate against me later on. So that being said, don't give repair estimates, right?
I love
The
that.
next step is, go ahead, Tracy.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I love this point. I just want to put the pause on it for just a moment. And the reason why I say this, because this is one of the key factors that keeps people from taking the next step in wholesaling, is they get bogged down in their mind with the repair costs. And they've been taught either, again, out on YouTube, Bill, or even by other people that, they actually have some clue, that you have to build this huge, pitch and provide all this information on repair costs. And the bottom line is it scares people away. Like you said, it then creates basically the opposite effect, because now they have leverage on you to nickel and dime your estimate and then jack up the price when they find things on walkthrough. So it really is a disservice to, like you said, Chris, this is more marketing and sales, not construction and remodeling. If that were the case, then we would really be diving deep on that part of it, but we're not. So I really love that, and thank you for bringing that up, because I think the key here for a lot of people that we keep reinforcing is keeping it simple. And if you're just seeing us, Chris is here. He comes every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to teach virtual wholesaling, real estate made simple. And this is exactly the point of why you can move forward, because you don't have to worry about all these things. All right, Chris, I just thought I'd jump in and say that, because as a wholesaler in the past myself, I completely understand how you can get easily tripped up with that.
No, totally. And Tracy, that's such a great point that you made there, because that's one of the biggest things that people come to me and they're like, I struggle with estimating repairs. There's two things that wholesalers really struggle with, right? It's estimating repairs and finding the value. Those are two big areas that they struggle with. And repairs, people just get really bogged down with that. They're like, oh, I'm trying to estimate on a site, and this site says, it's this repair dollar per square foot. Guys, you're never going to get it 100% right, I'll tell you. And you're going to leave more money on the table than I can tell you by trying to guess it. Just as an example, and I've renovated a lot of properties, right? I don't do it anymore. I hate renovating properties unless I'm going to hold it for the long term. But one thing I'll tell you is that material costs and labor has gone up by 45% since COVID, right? So good luck estimating the repairs. And it doesn't. I used to think that, I'm going to do these crazy things, like I'm going to call realtors and ask their opinion. I'm going to call contractors because I want to be the wholesaler that has the most knowledge, right? But guess what? When you do that, you're going to be the wholesaler that does the least amount of deals, because you're spending all your time doing those things instead of doing deals, right? So just understand, repairs don't matter. They do not matter at all. And it's one of the biggest ways that can trip you up in a wholesale deal, right? There's two places people leave money on the table. They leave money on the table by trying to guess repairs. And again, getting the value of the property wrong in its best possible condition, also known as the after repair value.
Love that. Boom.
Awesome. So let's dive into the next part here. So now you're having buyers reach out to you, right? You're not giving them repair estimates. We said no repair estimates. And now you're going to start qualifying those buyers. So in the beginning, before you have a deal, you are building your buyers list. And you're doing very light qualifications. Like, are you still actively buying in the area? Yes, great. What's the best phone number and email for you? I'll get you added to my list, right? Very light qualification, because you're doing marketing and lead generation. But now you're at the point where you have a product that you're offering to these buyers, right? And you have people coming to you, and I don't know if you heard that. It's my son in the background there. He's very excited about this. So, where was I? Working from home.
This is live, right?
Yeah.
Now we got
Yeah.
babies, we got all kinds of things.
Yeah. So now you have a property that you're offering buyers, and from there, now you want to drill down a lot deeper because it really matters since you're interviewing them to see if they're going to be a good fit to buy your property, right? So things that you can drill down on are like experience, how they're going to be funding the close of the property, and how quickly they can close, right? So experience. So what do I mean by that, right? So if a buyer submits an offer on a property, you want to find out a little bit about their experience. You want to say, hey, thanks so much for your offer on the property. That's amazing. Quick question for you. Are you looking to buy this property for yourself? Are you looking to bring a buyer? Oh, you're looking to buy it for yourself. Okay, great. So are you looking to buy this property as a rental, or are you looking at it as a flip? Oh, you look at it as a rental. Is this going to kickstart your portfolio? Is this the first property that you're getting to build that? Or do you have a lot of other rentals, right? No, I have a lot of other rentals. Oh, okay, great. So now we covered the experience. He's an experienced investor, has other rentals, right? Next step is funding time. So fantastic. So I'm glad you're looking to buy this property. Tell me, are you looking to close with cash, using hard money? How are you planning on funding the purchase? And he's like, well, I'm going to use cash. Like cash, it's in your bank account cash? Yes. Okay, cool. Great. So that being said, it sounds like to me that if you're closing with cash, this isn't your first rodeo. You can close on the property as soon as the title work's clear, right? Yes, I can. Okay, great. So bam. So what do you know now? You know the offer amount that he's making. You know his level of experience and how he's going to fund the transaction. And lastly, how quickly he can close, right? Why is all this important? You want to find this out for every single offer that you get, because sometimes you're going to have 3 identical offers, right? You may have a guy at 150, you may have one at another one at 150, and then you may have one at 140, right? Now, let's talk about each one of those. Maybe the first guy who offered you 150 is closing with hard money. It's the first deal that he's done. It's going to take 3 to 4 weeks to close, right? So that offer I wouldn't give too much attention to, right? The second one, let's say he's going to close with hard money. He's a little bit more experienced, right? But it's going to take him 2 weeks to close, and he's kind of hemming and hawing about the price a little bit, right? Then you have the third offer. Let's say that third offer is lower. It's 140, right? But he's cash, can close as soon as title's clear, really easy, and he's got to buy multiple deals from you. Who would I go with at that point? I actually go with the 140 guy because he can pay cash and close really quick, and I can turn over the property, reinvest that money into more marketing, get more deals, right? So sometimes the highest offer is not the best offer, right? So what you're looking for is you're looking for a solid transaction, and that is someone who, again, can pay cash, or if they are using hard money, they can close within 2 weeks, right? Hard money is just an investor mortgage. That's it. And it can close a lot faster than a traditional mortgage because the person isn't looking to buy the house to move into it. They're looking to buy it as an investment, right? So you want to find those things out. That's so important, right? You don't have to drill down anymore. You don't have to get bank statements from people, proof of funds. I don't do that, right? We've done a ton of deals, and I can tell you I've probably gotten proof of funds on maybe 2 or 3 people. And the reason that is because I know what to look for in conversation. Like I can tell if I'm getting red flags. And by all means, if you feel like you're getting red flags from someone, like, and you know what this is because it's that feeling in your gut that just something's off, like something's not right. You can't put your finger on it. It's nothing that he said. Maybe it's how he answered your questions. It just doesn't feel right. At that point, what I'd recommend for you to do is I'd recommend for you to go with your gut and just ask him, hey, with all of our properties, with every offer that's submitted for all our properties, we'll need a proof of funds. So do you have something like that? Yes, I do. Great. Send it over. I'll review, and then we'll discuss next steps for your offer, right? So you want to do that if you have that feeling in your stomach that says something seems off here. And if the guy's like, oh, I'm not going to provide proof of funds, or I don't need to do that, I'm an experienced investor, and they try to like blow smoke like that, then that's a big sign that they're probably not doing with the property what they told you they're going to do. They're probably trying to resell it or something like that, right? So you don't need to get blood samples, retina scans, and all these things that everyone says, fingerprints, before someone can buy your property. You're just going to frustrate people, and they're going to go on and buy from something else. Because I guarantee you, the national companies doing thousands of deals, none of them are doing that at all.
There's so
So
much gold here, folks. We'd love to say hello to you. I see a bunch of people have been joining us late, and here's probably why, Chris. Facebook has decided to no longer allow us to stream directly to Facebook groups. So I had to jump through hoops and get a lot of things set up in the back end on StreamYard. So the reason why you didn't get the notification, the invitation, and the actual go live as I normally would have done it is for this exact reason, because no longer are we able to do that. So we're going to jump through hoops for next week. But for those of you who are finding us just now, welcoming Chris Logan. He's our virtual wholesaling expert that comes into our group week after week on a Wednesday and teaches virtual wholesaling made simple. From a person's perspective of my own experience in the past, stepping into wholesaling without a coach, without somebody who had the experience level of Chris, and struggling through the process. I know a lot of you might feel that. If you do feel that, give me a thumbs up or say hello. We'd love to hear from you. And the reason I say it, Chris, is because just what you dropped in the last 10 minutes is so much gold that condensing that in one live here literally can transform someone's business, in my opinion. Just knowing you don't need to focus on repairs. You don't need to get all of the proof of funds and go through 1,000 different steps to vet your buyers. You can learn strategies to navigate those conversations as Chris is teaching. There's so much packed in this hour, Chris. We could break this up and literally go on for days just on those small little pieces of the things that you've been sharing. Just creating the email marketing and MailChimp, the template for sending that off and the specific way in which you set that up. Super simple, highly effective, very organized, and so many people struggle. These are the points that people a lot of times walk away, Chris. They get frustrated with the little pieces of it because they weren't taught this in the master class, or they didn't learn this, out there on YouTubeville or in the group. But here you are laying it out crystal clear for them. And I'm so excited about this information. I had to stop and say it because I've been through the grind like the folks in this audience here. I understand the pain points. And when someone brings this value in such a clear, concise way, I could not be more excited to bring you to the platform. So by all means, Chris, continue on. And hopefully we'll get some questions here going in the chat. I would love to hear from y'all.
awesome. No, thanks, Tracy. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm sharing the things that that tripped me up in the very beginning, because when I first started, like, I overthought so much. Like, overthinking is a really big thing in real estate, right? Like, and it doesn't matter what level you are. Like, if you're just getting started, or if you're seasoned, you're doing a ton of deals, right? There's still levels. There's a saying, another level, another devil, right? So you get to that point and there's something else that you're overthinking that's a lot simpler than you're making it out to be. So, and what's funny is I learned something from all types of people, right? I learned something from people that are doing way more deals than I'm doing. And I learned something from people that are brand new. And the reason I say that is because you always want to have a coachable mentality. And that coachable mentality is going to help you in a lot of different areas. So one of the things that I learned is to simplify the emails that I sent out, right? I actually learned that from someone who was a little bit newer. And then after doing a lot of tests and testing the marketing myself, I was like, oh my gosh, this definitely works a lot better. I was cramming way too much information into my emails before, way too much information. I was doing these big, long write-ups like a realtor and everything like that. It was crazy. I was basically putting multiple links in there for people, asking them if they're fill out this form if you're doing hard money, fill out this form if you're cash. It's crazy. And all those things impacted how many buyers move forward with my deals, right? So once I simplified it, that's when things really took off for us. So simplifying things is key. You can't scale hard. You can't scale difficult, right? You can't scale chaos, stuff that's all over the place. You have to be very simple, organized, and you can do phenomenal things with that. So let's go to this next part, right? So this next part here is group showings. So some of you might be like, whoa, Chris, I don't have a lot of buyers. How can I do a group showing, right? So here's the deal. What we do is we schedule a group showing for every deal that we do 7 days out from once the property goes under contract and we get pictures. So 7 days out, we're scheduling a showing. Now, leading up to that time, we're doing a ton of marketing on the property. We're making a lot of connections with buyers on social media. Our deals being posted in Facebook groups and all that stuff. And we're having a lot of buyers reach out to us, right? And then what we're doing is we're taking all this interest and we're telling people, hey, we're having a showing here on, the soonest we could get in the property is, May 15th, right? That's the soonest we could get in. So what I can do is I can put you down for the showing. But what I'd recommend, we're getting a lot of interest on this property. I'd recommend for you to make a sight unseen offer, because this one will probably either go before the showing or at the showing, right? For a higher price. And so people at that point are either going to make you a sight unseen offer and move forward with it without even going to the property. And that's what we call a home run in wholesaling, right? Or what's going to happen is they're going to go to the showing and there's going to be multiple people there, right? So you could have 2 people at a group showing. You could have 3 people at a group showing, 4 people, anybody, any amount of people that's greater than 1, you can have at a group showing, right? And let's say you schedule a group showing and guess what? You had 5 people scheduled, only 1 person shows up. And that person says, oh, I thought this was going to be a group showing. You say, no, you know what? We thought about it. We want to do a personalized showing for you. Just so you can get in and take your time with the property and see if it's a good fit. Because I have a really good feeling about working with you, right? Just brush them up a little bit. You know what I mean? Finesse it and don't have to worry about nobody showing up. I've had times where I've scheduled a group showing and nobody showed up, right? It's like, okay, back to the drawing board. What do you tell the seller? Hey, something came up with our team and we weren't able to make it today. No worries though. We can reschedule for another day this week, right? So just roll the punches, keep a positive attitude, and things are not really as big of a deal as we make them, right? So, So who oversees the group showing? So people ask me this a lot, like, Chris, how do you sell deals in another state, right? Like you're in Florida, how do you sell deals in North Carolina? So what we do is we have a local realtor who's our boots on the ground there, and they actually oversee our group showings. And it's good because they get everybody in at the same time, and then everybody leaves at the same time within 30 minutes. It's really important. We don't want to inconvenience the seller, and it just keeps it very simple. Minimal inconvenience to the seller, and we're just in and out. And it prevents the buyer going directly to the seller and having a conversation with them while at the showing. So you can find local realtors in Facebook real estate investment groups, and it's a great contact to have, because at that point they can give you local information about the area that you may not know about. New development 2 streets down, a lot of new construction on the same street, those types of things that can be really valuable and can affect your price when you're going to sell your property. If there's 5 houses on the same street that have boards on the windows, that could be good to know, right? So that's where the power comes in of a local realtor being your boots on the ground, right? So they'll oversee that. And what you're going to do is you're going to accept the highest and best offer. So, and if you don't get an offer that you're happy with at the end of the group showing, you schedule another group showing. We do a maximum of 2 group showings. And then that way we get the property sold. And then from there, we're going with highest and best, and we're closing, get paid, right? So closing and get paid, that means we're signing an assignment of contract with our buyer. He's putting in his earnest money deposit. We do a minimum of like $5K. And then when he submits that to the title company or our closing attorney, depends on the type of state that you're in. At that point, they start title work and they transfer ownership from the seller, the current property owner, to our buyer. And the amount between the amount we agree to the seller and the amount we agree to the buyer, that's our assignment fee, and that's how we get paid, right? And so that's the entire process, guys. That's the 5 baby steps to wholesale houses from home anywhere in the country. And Tracy is actually going to make this available to you guys in the group, so you can take a look at this and have a copy of it. Anybody that's been watching this live, we'll post a link in the group so you can get access to this. And again, let's talk about next steps. But before we do that, actually, I want to see if anyone had any questions.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people. It is a little challenging because I have 2 separate chats going, Chris, so you can't see them on the main StreamYard chat, basically because the rules have changed. So on the open chat on Facebook, in the group, and on my page, a bunch of people are watching and following along. Hey, if you guys have some questions for Chris, we're talking about obviously the closing side of or getting the deal across the line for your wholesale deal, getting it into the seller's hands. What's been your challenge? What's been your pain point, your issue, something that's really just kind of keeping you stuck? Or maybe you have a success you want to share. We'd love to hear those too. So if you have something for us, please drop that in the comments. Let us know where you are from and what where you're currently investing. That would be great, a great start. I'll keep an eye on the chat, Chris. As soon as I see some
Cool.
questions coming in, I'll share them with you. But in the meantime, I like the direction this is going because it's getting pretty exciting to close the deal here with you, Chris.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So that's one of the best parts. Is one of my favorite parts of selling the deal. I love this. And so this is the process that we use to do it. And that's how you can, if you follow that every single time, see a lot of wholesalers, they follow a different process every single time when they go to sell a deal and they get a different result. But if you follow the same process every single time, this even applies to people in the group who are a little bit more experienced and want to do more deals. The secret is keeping the same process. Think McDonald's, right? McDonald's makes the burger the same way every single time. They boil the fries and make the fries the same way every single time. Nothing changes, because if one thing changed in their process, right? If they change one little thing, the wheels would come off the wagon, right? All of a sudden there's this, it goes from being certain to uncertain, and then that's where there's a problem, right? So you want to keep your process the same for every single deal that you do. And that is the formula for success. So guys, if you'd like to take next steps, right, and you love what you've heard here, maybe this simplified some things for you, maybe it overcame some limiting beliefs for you, and you want to get the results that we're getting and our coaching clients are getting, you can see some of those results by looking at one of the posts that I recently did here with Tracy in the group. Two of my clients commented in there the results they were getting, and I'm super excited and feel blessed to be a part of their journey. But if you'd like to get the results that I'm getting and that they're getting, what I recommend to do is go ahead and apply to work with me by going to www.virtualwholesalingmadesimple.com and fill out the application. Make sure that you're detailed in your responses, because I don't take on everybody. And if I like what you have to say, I'll consider bringing you on as a client. There's some other links here as well where you can follow me on Facebook and check out other content that I put out outside of the group. And in this last tab here, what we have is I have recommended reading, books that I recommend for wholesalers to read that are invaluable on your journey, right? So I'll start off with The One Thing by Gary Keller. So I recommend checking that out. And then this list right here is just a great list to tackle, reading 10 pages a day and knocking it out one by one.
I love that. I love sharing a little bit more. Well, by the way, just to add in what you just said, The One Thing by Gary Keller. What a life-changing book, Chris. I've listened to it, read it. I've actually given it away a couple of weeks ago here in the live chat. And it's amazing to me how we need to be reminded of getting back to the basics and keeping it simple, really focusing on that domino effect of the power that you have, that one thing, getting really good at it and progressing forward. If you're not really good at wholesaling, we actually have really something kind of special that we just threw out in the group. And Chris, you want to share that post that you made that kind of went a little viral in the group?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that I'm looking for is I'm looking to take on 5 more people, right? I'm looking to work with 5 people one-on-one for this special program that I have, where we're going to be implementing some strategies for you that have gotten my clients the absolute most success. And this is something that I figured out in the last year that's automated a lot of the lead flow for our clients, making sure they're always talking to motivated sellers. They have a consistent stream of leads coming in and deals, and they're getting the results that they're getting. So I'm looking to work with 5 people. I can't work with everybody, right? And so I'm looking to work with 5 people and work with them one-on-one over the course of the next 8 months and get them results, right? I have a deal guarantee where if you don't do your first deal within 90 days, I continue to work with you till you do. You've seen some of my clients post, they've gotten deals in as little as 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Now, one of my clients is here. That one of my clients that posts on the comments there, she's up to averaging almost a deal a week now using the strategies that we share with her. So I highly recommend, if you're even the slight bit interested in that or curious, about what that could do for you and what that looks like, I definitely would recommend going to the link here and applying and making sure there's a spot in there that says, where did you hear about me, right? You want to make sure you put in Tracy's group or Tracy or Wholesaling Real Estate Facebook group, all those things that point back to Tracy, because that will let me know that you came from here and I do something special for all the people that come from this group. So that's what I have for you. And I'm looking to work with 5 people here over the next 8 months and get them serious results, right? And so I only have so much space, so much time, and we are cutting this off here on Tuesday, I believe, of next week. That's the cutoff. And I won't be taking any more people on for this because I want to focus on getting the people results that I've taken on that saw the value and took advantage of it right away.
I love that. And results always speak loudly, right? We can talk all we want, but the results are there. And if you're in my group, you'll see the comments on that post. It literally blew up. We have a ton of people saying, I'm interested. I'm done wasting my resources, my time, and trying to figure this thing out on my own. I'm ready to take the next step. I truly want the virtual wholesaling lifestyle. Chris will tell you he worked in corporate America for a long time, high-level sales position, traveled all over Florida, probably was working like, 12, 14-hour days for a while there, and trying to do the side hustle, building your real estate investing business. And it was not easy. And so you're capitalizing on someone who's done all the things. So if you're interested in that, there'll be a link that I'll drop in all of the different channels that we're streaming for Chris's coaching for you to apply. Again, deadline is Tuesday. I believe that's the 7th, Chris. And we're super excited that you're bringing that. And I know for a fact that Chris gives his $500 CRM away to my group members that sign up for this. So you have even that ready to go and implement as you take that next step. So Chris, this has been a packed hour. We didn't get a ton of questions, but you know what? There's a lot of people watching that I can see in the Facebook group. And if you have questions after the fact, or maybe you're watching this on replay because you just joined us a little bit late, please do drop those questions. Chris does go back into the group. He is in the group, and he does actually answer those questions. So we'd love to hear from you. As always, we'll see you next week, and I'll make a point to fixing the glitch of the Facebook issue of not being able to stream any longer in groups. And we'll make that a little bit more of an advance notice so that people can find us quicker. But in the meantime, we look forward to seeing you next week. And we look forward to having you join the group. If you're not in the group, I'll drop that link as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.